Hey guys, Toast here. Everyone has their favorite character to play in Overwatch, and many even have a particular class of hero that they greatly prefer over others. That said, many have their least favorite characters, and in turn their least favorite class of hero, and mine is definitely the support class. Not that I don't think that they're useful, in fact, they're arguably the most useful class of characters, and often the most important in the game. I've never loved healer classes in any games, be them MMOs, MOBAs, or shooters, with the slight exceptions of the Battlefield franchise and PlanetSide 2, because the medic class in those games tend to have amazing firepower. Now, I'm sure that there are many others out there who don't like this particular style of character, and frankly there's nothing wrong with that. But I do think it's important to, at the very least, be comfortable with at least one character in each class, so that should your team be lacking a particular class and nobody else is willing to make a switch, you can do so and feel confident. With that, I want to talk about Zenyatta, who I feel is the best support hero to play for people who generally don't like support heroes. Some might argue that Symmetra's the best because of her teleporter, or perhaps that Ana might be the best choice since she has both damage and CC abilities, but I think that there's one thing that's missing from these characters that non-support players would really appreciate in Zenyatta: pure damage output. Chances are that if you don't play support characters often like me, it might have to do with the fact that you like characters who are capable of holding their own in one-on-one battles with most other characters in the game. This is where I think that Zenyatta excels over all other support options available to us, first off because his destruction orbs do a solid 46 damage for each orb, and Zenyatta is able to fire them fairly quickly, or even rapid fire if he does his charge up. He has 20 rounds to play with before needing to reload, meaning he's capable of taking out every character in the game, assuming they don't have any health, shield, or armor buffs, without ever needing to reload. If you layer in the damage buff from Zenyatta's Orb of Destruction, which increases his damage output on that target by 30%, you now deal 60 damage per shot, which means that 3 hits without any headshots is enough to take out the lowest health characters, with 5 hits being enough to take out most non-tank characters in the game. While damage output tends to be very important to non-support characters, if you're taking on the role of a support, you'll likely also need to do at least some support work to keep your team alive. So how does Zenyatta stack up in that regard? Well, quite well actually. From the actual support standpoint, Zenyatta is pretty easy to utilize for his healing abilities. His Orb of Harmony can be placed on an ally at any point, either prior to taking damage, which is ideal, while taking damage, or after already having taken damage, and as long as the ally is in Zenyatta's field of view, Zenyatta doesn't have to do anything else for his healing to work. The target will heal back to full health as long as they don't leave Zenyatta's line of sight for more than a few seconds, which, given that Zenyatta can play a little bit closer to the action than some other supports, is not likely to happen very often. His ultimate is also very easy to use. It can either be used if you see a lot of your teammates on critical or low health, or if your teammates are ready to do a push against a well-defended area. You don't need to do anything other than be close to them while it's active, and you'll heal them constantly, making yourself incredibly useful. And another aspect that should be taken into consideration is survivability. It's quite nice for non-support players that he has 50 health and 150 shield, which, after his recent buff, no longer puts him in the same level with the squishiest characters in the game. Because 3/4 of his hit points are shield, if he ducks out of combat for a few seconds, he can regain up to 75% of his total hit point pool back without having to receive healing from packs or other characters. This makes him very self-sufficient and capable of holding his own for longer than some other support characters may be able to, especially if he's being chased. Now, with all that said, I think everyone should try out each of the support characters for themselves to see which one works best for their playstyle, but in my experience, both as someone who doesn't like supports and who has a number of friends who also don't like support classes, Zenyatta seems to be the easiest pick to do well with from an elimination standpoint, while still being useful to your team for healing and general support. But that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you don't like playing support characters, which one of them have you found the most success with? Let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, please leave a like, and if you want to see more content, please subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Toast, and I'll talk to you soon.